Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. If you spent any amount of time here around Let's Talk Entertainment, you will know about my show, Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. Beginning way back in 2018, I started this journey towards tracking down, reading, and briefly reviewing each of the roughly 600 short stories written by Ray Bradbury. And today there is some news regarding a movie based on one of his novels, which has been long out of print. Something Wicked This Way Comes. It seems like there's finally become available, and we're going to read about that in just a moment. But before we get to that, just a brief reminder that if you do choose to join us in the comment section, all that we ask is that you be kind to one another, to me, and just try to get along. We don't have to agree, but we do have to get along. The world is a mean, nasty place, and there's no reason why we can't use this space to escape that very briefly during our day. So this comes from Book and Film Globe, and I, in my bookmarks, I keep a search of the term Ray Bradbury saved at all times, and every couple of days I check it. And on occasion, there is in fact new news in the world of Ray Bradbury. I was sort of happy to find this news today. So here it is. Something Wicked This Way streams. Ray Bradbury's cult movie is finally available for fans to watch. After trying to kick Jimmy Kimmel off the air in a bizarre political move and losing a ton of money in the process, Disney's doing something right, pulling a VHS nightmare out of the basement. Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes is finally streaming. And just this morning I was talking to Jeremiah, who used to make videos here on the channel, and we were discussing how even in the era of streaming, how so much of the libraries of these companies are completely unavailable, and it's just absurd that it's that way. The whole magic of streaming was the ability to have entire libraries at your disposal, and they don't seem to be doing that. There's thousands of movies that have never been on any form of physical media still not available to stream. But I digress. If you missed this weirdo dark classic on Disney Channel reruns, here's the gist. In a small town, two boys, Will Halloway and Jim Nightshade, stumble upon a mysterious carnival that grants people their deepest desires, at a terrible cost. As events unravel, the boys realize that Mr. Dark, a delicious Jonathan Pryce, the sinister ringmaster, has plans for far darker than simple entertainment. Released in 1983, Something Wicked is a live-action adaptation of Bradbury's novel, with the author himself credited on the screenplay. Until now, it has been totally absent from streaming platforms. Indeed, it's not publicly available at all, aside from a hard-to-find 2021 Blu-ray release through the Disney Movie Club. Fans have mostly had to satisfy themselves with Bradbury's iconic novel, which I have not read since childhood. I'll be perfectly clear there. Though I've read a lot of Ray Bradbury in my adulthood, I have not read any of the novels since childhood. I'm eventually going to come back around to doing them here on this channel. And I also have not seen the movie in a long, long time either. I remember watching it on reruns on television a number of times. I may have had a copy of it on VHS a long time ago. I sort of vaguely remember that. But it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. And so when I do get the opportunity to resubscribe to Disney Plus, this will be on my list of things to watch. Over the decades, though, it's picked up a modest cult reputation among Bradbury devotees, horror buffs, and fans of Disney's darker experiments. Now, for the first time, it's headed to a major platform. Disney Plus started streaming it in the US and Canada starting October 3rd, which was last week. Disney is usually associated with sanitized family fare and mega franchises. Still, Something Wicked was part of a short-lived period when the studio dipped into more unsettling territory, movies that lingered like half-remembered nightmares. And that is sort of the beauty of Ray Bradbury's sort of slightly horror stuff, is that it just has a way of deeply connecting with you in ways that you would not expect. His writing was always so deceptively simple and unassuming, and yet he knew very well how to tap into sort of the classic nostalgic tropes that sort of everybody feels from childhood, I think. Is the movie still good? Honestly, who knows? This is one of those cult versus canon cases, the kind of film people whisper about in trade burned DVDs, wondering if it deserves resurrection or if it should have stayed buried. Whatever the film's merit, the Disney Plus release matters. The platform has been dragged for glaring gaps in its back catalog, with rights issues and corporate squeamishness leaving whole chunks of history in the vault. But here's the thing: even if they're squeamish, they still have Hulu, so there should be no never be an excuse for not releasing anything that you have the right to release. Nobody's expecting family-friendly fare only on Hulu. Why not put it on Hulu? I mean, you've got freaking Alien there after all. Something Wicked surfacing now suggests they might finally be digging into those dark corners. Condor Man, another infamous Disney bomb. Anyone? But what's streaming? But what's streaming isn't Bradbury's pure vision. Disney famously tinkered with the movie after test screenings, sanding down its quieter, melancholy edges into a jumpier, more conventional film thriller. They swapped out Georges Delereux's historic original score for James Horner's more bombastic orchestration, added voiceover narration to clarify what Bradbury had left ambiguous, and spliced in new scenes, reshaping the film into something more marketable and less authentically Bradbury. What we're getting this October isn't just a relic of 1980s Disney, it's a case study in how studio interference can hurt a work for decades. And yes, and there's a number of cases that went on with Disney. And maybe that's the real thrill, not whether the movie holds up, but that Disney's haunted attic is finally creaking open. If Something Wicked can crawl out, maybe Watcher in the Woods or The Devil and Max Devlin aren't too far behind. Yeah, Watcher in the Woods. I do remember that one. And of course, there is an old trailer available for that, which you can check out on your own time. But yeah, I am mildly excited for this. I know Bradbury's short fiction output very well. I'm less familiar with his novels. That's something that I actually dug into as a child, but then I sort of haven't touched again since. So I don't really have strong memories of those works. Something Wicked, bringing that back into my life is definitely on the agenda now. And probably the first way at which I'll do that will be to check out this movie on Disney Plus the next time that I subscribe. If I subscribe, we shall see. I have not been subscribed since the day that the last episode of Andor ended. I cut myself off after that, sort of waiting for the next thing that interests me to maybe warrant resubscribing. But then again, prices have gone up. But this is good. This is promising news to know that they're digging into their vaults. I don't really understand this idea that, and we don't necessarily know if this is how Disney thinks, but we seem to interpret their behavior as being squeamish and of not wanting to do darker things. I'm not necessarily sure if that is true or not, but if this helps to pry open that door, that is good news, I would say. But I think mainly they think with their wallets, and so if material has become sanitized, that's a reflection of our culture more than it is a reflection of Disney's sort of code of ethics, if they have a code of ethics, and I'm not sure that they do. Perhaps money is the only credo there. But this is definitely an interesting development. I'm looking forward to it. And as I mentioned up top, you can, in the meantime, check out 295 Ray Bradbury short fiction reviews here on Let's Talk Entertainment. And I'm pretty sure that I'm the only one on YouTube has reviewed some of these stories. And that project still has a long time to go. It's going to take years to complete, but I'm hoping that you will take a moment to subscribe and join me on that journey. But in the meantime, Something Wicked This Way comes. Check it out.